Every day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling their side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Morid. And poor rich kids get their money on phone it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah. We got the good. Good of them assets, good of my bag. Get rid of cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a blast from the past. We on the smash, now. Be prepared to hit the gas, yeah. Build a land, get the wealth changing.
Mrs. Jilu, would you start by stating your name, the crime you were convicted of, your age at the time the crime occurred, and how much time you've already served?
All right, my name is Portrayal. I committed it, I was arrested in 1994 for murder, first degree murder. In 1994, that'll make it 23, 24 years right now. And I was 18 when this crime happened. I was 30 days into my 18th birthday. And I have two other fall partners, which was 17, and I was 18. I was the driver of a car that they said was used in a drive-by shooting. And I would never identify as a perpetrator or nothing, but they said due to the time, and there's a possibility I could have been in the car at the time of the murder.
Peace to the party, peace to the party. It's your homeboy back again with the news. So today, you know, we gonna I'm gonna put my journalism hat on, really show them that I do this, and we gonna cover some real issues. All right, so you know, we've been breaking down the media and how the media has really been at war against the people. Right, through misinformation, through cooperating in different programs and experiments that were done to several communities. But you know, I'm gonna break it down for the people who come into us to give them the news unbiased. Right, we're gonna tackle the real issues. So we're gonna use a case study today. We're gonna use the great state of Louisiana, and we're gonna show how the past matches up to the future and why it's important for us to be out here speaking up, being a part of politics, local and at the federal level, because all of it plays together in the way in which media is used against us. All right. So y'all heard straight from the beginning. It's a brother that's locked up. Well, I believe he's free now, but his story is just an example. Shout out to the fair use. Shout out to the channel. I think it's the Louisiana State Parole or Penitentiary. I'm not sure how they got this video, but it was this brother's story is very interesting and is not unique. It's somebody that's from Louisiana. Watching the video really was crazy because I'm sitting here thinking about all the people I know, all the men and women who was affected by this same system that was perpetuated through bad laws and politics and reinforced through the media, right? And we're going to put it all together and we're going to show y'all how it makes sense. All right, so it's been political corruption going on within many states, but Louisiana is a very important case study, and it's very interesting when you know the history of Louisiana and how it came to be. And this is another reason why, especially those of us in the South, but really all over, we need to know our genealogy and we need to know our history, because it's a reason that they go through all this to be able to subject us and put us in a certain light within the media. I'm just saying. But let's get into a little bit more of the story. We're going to start breaking this down by certain pieces and show you how even political figures today was involved in policies way back when that affected a lot of our families. So we're going to go back to the brother and let him finish some more of his story, and we're going to take off from there.
Your two co-defendants then would be eligible for parole under the new rules since Montgomery.
Right.
But in a particularly cruel twist, you're not.
Not at all.
So we're going to get to that. I want you to describe a little bit more detail about that. But before we get there, can you just tell me a little bit about your time growing up? We're going to get to Angola here in a minute, but can you tell me a little bit about the folks that raised you?
Yeah, I was raised by my grandmother, a woman named Gladys Richardson. And my grandmother's a white woman, and she owned a store across the street from the Iberville Housing Project. And my grandmother is sort of like a powerful, powerful, powerful woman. And she helped the youth. And she used to loan money out to people for $20 on the dollar, like a loan sharper. And when people get hungry, they come to a grocery store, and she have tabs on them. You know, when they get their welfare check, they'll pay her back. You know, you can get something to eat today until you get your check. You know, and she was a real good person, but she was hated by a lot of people because my grandfather, he was equivalent to John Gotti in my neighborhood. He like a heavy crime dude. I never really saw him do crime, but you know, he had a reputation for being a badass. Mm-hmm. And this was his wife. And my grandmother, she was so special, but she taught me everything about life.
Sure. So do you have siblings?
Yeah, my mother have 7 children. Okay. And I'm like the second to the youngest. Okay. And yeah, I'm the second to the youngest. She had 4 girls and 3 boys.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And what were the circumstances that led to your grandmother raising you as opposed to your mother and father?
The circumstances that my grandmother raising me is like, I couldn't speak. I was like, sort of like, what you call it, special. Mm-hmm. You know, and nobody can really put a tab on me or nothing. Nobody can make it out. Mm-hmm. But my grandmother, you know, I ain't learned how to speak till I was like 14. I ain't learned how to read till I was like 31, you know?
Now, when I first started the video, you know, I ain't have my normal energy because I ain't gonna lie to y'all. When I first watched this interview, it hit home for me because being from Louisiana, you know, he from New Orleans, I'm from Shreveport, but the whole state of Louisiana share these same stories. It just so happened that New Orleans is the biggest city, right? So it's important that we break a couple things down here because he's pointing to some important facts. One of the first ones is he's talking about a family dynamic that's not uncommon to a lot of people within our community, no matter what Black area you may be in within the United States. How did it all of a sudden become this way? Because see, a lot of children wasn't new to us, right? However, the community part that was missing, that was a new factor. And just for y'all to reiterate, we talking about the 80s and the 90s. The brother say when he got committed of this, when he got charged of this crime, it was in 1994, and that's a very important time frame. We're gonna get back to that and tie this all together, but just understand that how the dynamic was. So you know, history is important. Once again, I ain't gonna give you a history lesson right now into the super details, but you can tap into our podcast on Sundays, and we do in-depth history breakdowns and really show the sources in the whole 9. But your homeboy with the news, you know, I'm on my journalistic approach today. So we're going to stick to this issue and really nail it home. So just to paint that picture, right? These inner cities were created through people, our people, that came from rural areas and all of a sudden came into the city. These cities that they ended up making the ghettos, because most of the housing communities and things of that sort was white areas turned into Black ones if they wasn't projects, right? The key word that everybody used to throw around is the projects. How they putting this together? It literally was an experiment, right? So he explained the family dynamic. Poverty and crime is all around him. He got several siblings. He thrust into this city, and now we see where he at, right? So this is a common story. This is not unique. They done made buku movies, songs, but it's showing you a systematic approach of how this all happens, right? And this brother was convicted of a crime based on circumstances find out to be true that he was always innocent the whole time, but he was just a child being convicted. And here we come fast forward now. Louisiana is trying to make these laws to where now they can lower the age to where you can be tried. They're trying to throw out your juvenile convictions and make it to where now you get tried as an adult no matter what, right? The same things they was doing back then during this unfair sentencing, right? So it's kind of funny how the person who's in office right now, that if you say anything bad about him, you can't even get your message out. But he was the one who authored and was behind this, right? But we're going to get to that later. Now, I want you to get the other dynamics. So we talk about the media and how the media just encompasses the music, the movies, the videos, everything, right? The way the apps are censored, the whole nine. But then we got to tie in the school system. I'm sure you've heard of the school to prison pipeline, right? That's a real thing. And we have the education system is being used against us because, for one, the curriculum is trash. It's not empowering kids. It's really subjecting them to a whole bunch of bullshit. It's just really what it is. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, they're in collaboration with the message being brought out by the media, right? And we can prove that through several different studies that have already been done. But I want y'all to hear something that's real interesting. In this brother's story, he speak to school because they ask him about, how was school? So I want y'all to hear that. And then we're going to break this down some more.
Right. What about school? Can you tell me a little about school, your experiences in school?
Well, I was in special ed class, and I hated school. I really hated school.
What did you hate about it?
Because I was in the class like with kids like, I'm not like them, but I was kind of slow, but people used to tease me.
Sure. What school were you in?
I went to Del Mary School in New Orleans.
Okay.
Trying to find my way. My grandmother trying to find the perfect way.
Sure. What was the highest year of school that you finished?
11th grade, but that don't count.
Wow.
That don't count because they just let you go in. I don't know if you know how special ed works.
A little bit.
Yeah, they just let you pass this.
I see. Because you said you didn't know to read or write until
Right.
you were 31, so
Right.
they just kind of kept pushing you through.
Yeah, your age, you just.
Yeah, okay.
So now we get a breakdown of the school system. So we know the policies that's being made, being created to structure these inner cities in a certain way into poverty. Poverty leads to crime. Tie that with low education. Now you got long-standing crime. You don't just gotta every now, because there's always been a street sector to communities. That's not new. That's where a lot of the message gets crossed up. We're not saying that there should be no underground criminal, because you can never stop the criminal underground. But the problem within our community, they promoted to us through the media that a destructive culture, gang culture, you know what I'm saying, pimps and hoes, shit like that, that's the way that we should be living, promoted it and said that that's who we are as Black people. At the same time, implemented policies and brought drugs into the community that they was going to come and over police a couple of decades later just to benefit the corporations of prisons and all the new militarized police forces, right? We all know this to be true. This ain't no conspiracy because we can sit back and go break down what we've lived through and what we've seen, right? This man's story, so many people out there. I want y'all to tap in the comments. Where you from? I know if you from a Black area, this is how it is in the schools. I know several people who could attest to what this man just said in the video. I went to school just like this that was predominantly Black, to where y'all remember No Child Left Behind, right? To where Even that he was saying in special ed, they just pass you through. Now in regular classes, they just pass you through. You ain't even got to try, because they're not trying to arm the future citizens, the youth of America to be prepared and to be active and aware. They want you to be as dumbed down as possible and live in an alternate reality. Dude, that's what's hot right now, right? So I wanted you to hear this from him, because this is another story. And I felt that I appreciate him for being candid. And y'all should go check the whole interview out for those who are interested. You know, shout out to that channel, Louisiana Penitentiary. We're using this under fair use because we reporting the news, right? And I want y'all to hear it first, because there's been too many false images painted out. And this man was sentenced under predatory laws that was shut up by your boy Joe Biden. You know what I'm saying? The guy in office right now, who single-handedly, with the bills that he wrote, severed multiple generations of our families. You had people, everybody wasn't, see, some of y'all, you know, sit on your high horse, you may not understand. Everybody didn't have the same choices as a kid. You can't sit here and judge a situation that you don't understand. See, me, I was blessed. Even though I grew up around this, I had a mama that provided the opportunity for me to be able to at least see something different, right? But everything that I was around, the schools that I went to, my family, I seen this every day. I really lived around this and absorbed this. I understand it, right? But we sit here and we've been tricked to think that there's nothing we can do, when really that's not true. It's just as simple as being informed to be out here and do what it do and really care and make our ancestors proud. You know what I'm saying? So I want to tie together how everything that we saying, it lead up, right? Because they say, oh man, you probably just talking, right? You just talking. You the homeboy with the news. You don't really know what's up, man. So we're going to go over here. We're going to break down a little link to show you how the literacy rates, because remember, the brother said that he couldn't read till he was 30 something. So he caught a life sentence when he was 17. So clearly he learned how to read in prison. So with that being said, let's show the link between the two, because there is a link, right? And why and how that they want to miseducate. Shout out to Lauryn Hill when she dropped that album, The Miseducation, right? Because the miseducation is one of the number one things that's putting us in this predicament. All right, so let me get this pulled up. We're going to do a little bit of reading. You know, we read over here, right? So let me bring this up. Try to make it a little bit bigger for y'all. But you know, your homeboy got you. So check it out. It say the relationship between incarceration and low literacy. Politicians and journalists often claim prison planners use third-grade reading scores to predict the number of future prison beds needed. While it has been found that this claim is mostly a myth, there is in fact a strong connection between early low literacy skills and our country's exploding incarceration rates. Compelling statistics underscore this connection. 85% of all juveniles who interface with the juvenile court system are functionally low literate. Juvenile incarceration reduces the probability of high school completion and increases the probability of incarceration later in life. High school dropouts are 3.5 times more likely than high school graduates to be arrested in their lifetime. High school dropouts are 63% more likely to be incarcerated than their peers with 4-year college degrees. Mississippi has the second highest incarceration rate in the nation. The average adult inmate reads on a 6th grade level when admitted. Half of the state's inmates never finish high school. And Mississippi number 2, Louisiana is number 1. So let's hit this last one real quick. It say a low level of literacy is not a direct determinant of a person's probability to be convicted on criminal charges, but correctional and judicial professionals have long recognized a connection between poor literacy, dropout rates, and crime. Now, I'm telling you right here, it makes sense when you think about it, right? Because common sense would tell you, if you're not aware of all the things and all the opportunities that are around you, you are definitely susceptible to become what they call a product of your environment, especially when children need guidance. So you can't expect the child to, even though they see all of these things around them, to just go choose to do better if they've never seen that, right? So they may not be really criminals for real. They may not be murderers for real, but now through the environment and the situations that they're thrust in as children, they make grown up decisions and it costs them their freedom for the rest of their life. And now you got a state like Louisiana where the crime rate is already ridiculous, and you want to fight that by coming back with these same policies that they already had back in the day that did not work, because clearly we're seeing the results of that now. They said they stopped the violence and the drugs then. Well, how is it still here now? And just like back then, none of the citizens, we ain't go bring in none of these drugs to these communities. We didn't have the capabilities to do that. Allegedly, they say the government did. I'm just going to say allegedly, because if I don't, y'all would say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but there's plenty of evidence out there. Remember how we linked the CIA already with Operation Mockingbird? Well, go look in the freeway Rick Ross. We dropped his name. You know, they made the movie Snowfall. That is about his life. That was his real life story as far as the whole CIA bringing drugs in. This is a real thing. So then they bring the drugs in. They bring in the new laws to police these drugs and over criminalize the people that they supply the drugs to. Now that's a cold game. Now, once again, we got to go and break down the proof, right? We got to go break down the proof, and we got to go to some historical media from the other side and remind y'all once again who a lot of y'all voted for, who they trying to tell us is the man to be, when really this dude is the one who, by the pen, ruined several communities. But I want y'all to hear it again so we can reiterate.
We'll have 100,000 police officers on the street, a 20% increase. It will be used to build prisons to keep 100,000 violent criminals off the street. We will have the means by which we can say punishment will be more certain.
The whippings of mass distraction have always been in the play. People follow their sports teams more than they follow the things that's going to affect them every day. So a lot of times the bills are passed and politicians go back and forth, and all of a sudden you turn around and there's a crime bill that not only affects your present, but really seriously affects your future.
Clinton passed a crime bill which allowed now 14-year-olds to be tried as adults, more prisons being built.
The impact of the crime bill is devastating and felt almost immediately. For example, the 3 strikes law, this idea that if you have 3 offenses, that you're out of here, right? Like you go away. It increases your sentencing dramatically. That is embedded into the crime bill.
Violent crimes should be told. When you commit a 3rd violent crime, you will be put away and put away for good.
Sentencing discrepancies when it comes to drugs.
Cocaine versus crack.
Crack, cocaine.
Cocaine versus crack cocaine.
The penalty for possession of 5 grams of crack cocaine, the drug used and sold by many young blacks, is 5 years in prison. The penalty for possession of 5 grams of powdered cocaine, the drug favored by the white middle class, is probation.
And that's why so many people who got caught with very small amounts ended up doing really major time.
Do you think you'll be coming back here again?
That's hard to say.
These communities were asking for help. We know that they were like, we have problems. But what they were asking for was to get to the root of the problem. So that doesn't mean locking up a generation of African Americans or labeling every black man who walks out of his house a gangbanger.
Hey, so I'm gonna leave y'all here with it. The groundwork been laid. I want to know. You tell me. Did the media have a role to play with the shaping of the black men, the black women, our image in America, to help us be over-policed, to help these prison corporations boom, and they pass the policies and the laws now to help and supplement them become even more profitable? I'm just your homeboy with the news. So y'all wouldn't care what I said anyway, but I'm here reporting and I want to know what y'all think. From city to city in America, tap in and let me know y'all thoughts, right? Am I tripping? Am I spot on? Let's have a conversation about it because it's something that got to be done, man. Regardless of how you may feel the problem came to be, it's definitely a problem. So, hey, look, with that said, like always, you keep it positive. You keep it pushing. It's your homeboy with the news. I'm out of here till next time. Peace.
This is all the love I had. I can't get it back, I won't get it back, Gave all the love I had. One motherfucking three, nigga. I can't get it back, I can't get it back, can't get it back, can't get it back. This is all the love I had.